at the age of 16, I grew up in Argentina, third world country. If you look at what Argentina is today, highest inflated currency in the world, completely destroyed by socialism and corruption. So my parents, my family, kind of having an understanding of what was going to be taking place in the southern hemisphere, decided that it was going to be a good move to, attempt the American dream. So at the age of 16, with $200 in a suitcase, came to the United States, started pressure washing basketball courts. That was my first job. And then eventually through the years, got into different jobs, was exposed to e-commerce, was exposed to the internet, was exposed to making money online, and I capitalized on the opportunity. It's very straightforward. A lot of people have been able to experience the internet, but only a handful of people have utilized the internet to actually make money. For example, yourself, right? Yeah. A lot of people watch YouTube, but then there's other people who actually go out and do it. So got into the internet game, got into e-commerce, got into cryptocurrency in 2016. And as cliche as it may be, I actually was able to buy a Bitcoin when it was worth a couple $100, right? And then 2017, I f***ed up. I did really well in the crypto bull run. I did 160x on my portfolio, but then I lost it all. And I was like, oh dang, how do I make sure that this doesn't happen again? And I understood there was market cycles and that there were cycles and ebbs and flow of money supply and things of this nature. So I said, you know what, let me go back to e-commerce, make money, because it was something that I had mastered. Yeah. And then 2020 rolled over all my profits into crypto, different technological pioneering kind of niches, such as DeFi and things of this nature that took off and did really well. And here we are today.
So when you came to the United States, you came alone or?
Yeah, completely alone.
So your family just sent you here? You're 16.
16, brother. My family didn't send me. I graduated from high school, and at that point I had a decision. Am I going to continue a university career path in Argentina, work for $2,000, $500, $1,000 a month, or am I going to try and figure out a better situation, a better place to be? And obviously America offers a ton of great opportunities, and it worked out.
But like when you came here, obviously, like was it not tough? Like what did you do? You came with $200.
Brother, when you have, what do you have to lose? $200? There's nothing to lose, but when you're at the bottom. What do you mean, brother? To $200, think about it. What does living with a family member or friend cost? Free. You get a regular job doing anything. You make $1,000 a month. As a 16, 17, 18-year-old, you can self-sustain your lifestyle with $800 a month. You can eat healthy, organic, natural, $500 a month. Pay for your public transport, pay for your essentials, your utilities, your amenities with another couple $100. And what I came to realize is I was so obsessed with making money that I wasn't figuring out how am I going to spend the little bit of money that I have. I was figuring out as soon as I make this money, how can I deploy it to multiply? I remember I was waiting tables, and in the United States, and I don't know how it works nowadays, but back in the day, you would basically get cash tips and you would take those tips and they would belong to you, right? So what I would do is I would take that cash the same day, I would deposit it in the ATM machine, Wells Fargo, instant deposit would show up in my bank account. I would go home and 50% of whatever I made for tips, 50% was going to be my ad spend for my Facebook ads that same day. And half of it would go to an exchange called Bitstamp, which is where I would buy my Bitcoin and my XRP and my Litecoin and things of this nature. So the same day that I made the money, I already knew why I was going into work. I was going into work to get my fuel for my Facebook ads that I had to pay for that night because I didn't have a credit card. Yeah. I had my debit card. So whatever I made, right, I pulled it with my brothers and we would come together and that's how it worked.
Oh, you have brothers?
Make money. Yeah, I have an older brother at Mr. Belmar, biohacking wizard, built e-commerce businesses with him. Have a younger brother as well, did e-commerce with him. We kind of keep it in the family unit.
So is that something you learned from them, or like
we work together? I mean, when you grow up with people on a regular basis, a lot of the information that you receive is similar. So we devised a plan where we understood that when you are more, especially when you work in a unit dynamic, you have more firepower. The reason I came to this conclusion was if you look at the school system, right, and you're in the school system and you have a problem or an exam or a test, how do they tell you that you need to solve this problem? By yourself. Go lock yourself in your room, figure this out. If you use your friends or if somebody tells you the answer, it's what? Cheating. But in the real world, if somebody gives you an advantage or tells you how to win, you call it a hack. You call it an insider piece of information. You call it a cheat code. Yeah. You don't call it out here scamming or losing or doing these things. But in the school system, they teach you that collaboration is bad. So I was like, let me just collaborate with the people that I can already trust, which is the foundation for business. You need people that you can trust and learn skill sets that we can utilize together and make money. And that just happened to be e-commerce initially because the barrier to entry was super low and the risk to reward ratio was extremely high. Instead of going and getting a regular job, let me just utilize those same amount of hours and figure it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, the first couple months, 6 months, 7 months, you don't figure it out, but eventually you start piecing things together. And what I came to realize, brother, is you probably saw it as well doing YouTube, is a lot of people never evolve their strategies or never think if there's a barrier or something in the way, how to overcome it. It's always like, let me try and do the same thing, not trying to figure out how I can go around it. So you mess up with e-commerce, you fail, you lose money. Instead of giving up and being like, oh, this doesn't work. No, maybe I don't work. Maybe what I'm currently doing isn't working. Maybe I need to figure out a different strategy. And that's kind of what is good with working with other people is when you're starting from the ground up, there's a lot more firepower to figure things out and execute trial and error quicker. So yeah, that's why I like collaborating with my family, and especially family because you have trust, which is the foundation for business. You don't want to be looking over your shoulder wondering if the person's going to be stealing from you.
Oh, stabbing you. What age did you get into this e-commerce? You said
17.
17.
Yeah, super fast, brother.
And at that time, your brothers were already doing it.
No, we got into it together. But 17, it wasn't like we were in here making money. 17 is we're trying to figure out how does Facebook work? We're trying to figure out what the is a supplier? Like, how do I communicate with somebody in China? We're not talking about 2023 where you can just send a message and there's all these providers of dropshipping businesses and e-commerce suppliers and warehouses in America. No, back in the day, it was Excel spreadsheets, figuring things out manually. It was extremely complicated. So it was a super big learning curve that took years, and eventually it played out, but it played out because we played the long term. It wasn't just, 2 months in, we're out here making money. No, it was a progressive realization.
How much money were you on like when you started? Like obviously this,
I would say it was like $3,500 is what we had to start.
Oh, just to get into it.
Yeah, just to get into it. It was like the initial budget. You can't start with $100, dude. Like nowadays, you can't even start with $100. You need at least a couple $1,000.
Yeah, do you think people lie when they say, "Oh, $100 you can start"?
Yeah, of course it's a lie, dude. What can you start with $100? Think about it. You register a domain. You have a phone, that cell phone plan that's costing you something. You're not just not having a cell phone plan.
Yeah.
You have Wi-Fi. You're not going into fucking McDonald's to get public Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
There's all these additional costs that are incurred that people don't take into account because they're just regular expenditures of life. But you need $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 in order to allow you to create a business plan that sustains you for more than just 60 days, right? So yeah, you could start a business in the e-commerce space for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000.
So did you finish school, by the way? Because you're saying you
high school, yeah. But I had I failed every single fucking class, bro. I hated that shit. It was so bad.